Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The show starts in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good morning, CaneSport. It's December 8th, 2021. I'm Gary Ferman, the publisher of CaneSport.com, joined as always by our managing editor, Matt Shodell, as we discuss the news of the day. And it's all about recruiting now at the UMatt. Mario Cristobal is the new man in town, and there's nothing more important to Mario Cristobal than recruiting. And he's gotten all the pleasantries out of the way, shook a lot of hands yesterday at his introductory press conference, kissed a bunch of babies, gave a bunch of hugs, and then it was boom, out on the road recruiting. And there, it's going to be a mad race to signing day next Wednesday, and it's just exciting to just have so much of this to cover. And I think that everyone's going to see Mario make some headway on some of these kids before next Wednesday.
Yeah, and the nice thing is he can have anybody take official visits this weekend that he wants, because anyone who's already visited, they can come back and visit again. That's the rule. And who knows how many kids? You might have 50 kids show up. Knowing him, they might be. He might stay up all night, every single night, Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night. He barely sleeps. I was talking to a coach yesterday over at Columbus, Dave Dunn, who knows Mario obviously really well. And Dave's like, listen, I wake up at 3 or 4 in the morning. Mario's already awake. And Dave's like, I go to bed at 10. I think he gets less sleep than I do because I think he drinks more Cuban coffee than I do. That's what Dave says. So, this is a worker, man. I mean, if you cloned each of us, Gary, 8 times, I don't think we'd still work as hard as Mario Cristobal does.
It's
amazing.
4 hours a night. That means
I don't even know if he does that.
Crazy, but you know what? The University of Miami football program is going to be the beneficiary of it, Matt, and I think exciting times ahead. And walking around the Schwartz Center yesterday, the indoor practice facility, you could tell there's a lot of tension there. You could see it on people's faces. A lot of people there don't know if they're gonna have jobs in the future, and there's just different emotions, I guess I should say, running through the building right now, and it's a unique time. Because of the timing of all of this. But I think that once they can get through signing day and then Mario can focus on a staff and while the team is probably out at the bowl game, continue to get all that settled and then be ready to hit the road running on January 1st. And
January 15th is when the dead period ends, but yeah.
No, but I mean, just as a program with the staff.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. I'm not talking about hit the road recruiting January.
Recruiting road.
Just just getting organized as a staff, and I think they'll need that time. It's a good thing that recruiting doesn't kick in for 2 weeks in January, because they need to get everybody moved down and situated and finding places to live and things like that. So they'll have the latter part of December and the early part of January to get all that facilitated. Mario can get his key guys in place, and then it'll really be active, I think, starting the middle of January, because I think at that point you're going to start seeing a lot of transfers wanting to come to Miami and play for Mario Cristobal. And what the numbers are going to look like, I think you worry about that later, quite frankly. I think that right now it's going to be how many good players can we get to come into the program, and then they will worry about the numbers. And if you're a guy that's on the current roster who hasn't been playing a lot, who's kind of just taking up space, I think there's going to be some uncomfortable moments for some of those guys. And when a new head coach comes in, they may find that going into 2022, after the spring semester, that they don't have scholarships anymore. And, it's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out. I don't expect that to happen to a lot of guys. But if there are guys that aren't really making a contribution to the program, I would feel in trouble. And if you're near graduation, I would accelerate your course load in the second semester. That would be my advice. But Matt, getting I guess more direct. Actually, there was one thing I wanted to show everybody that I thought was kind of cool. This thank you Herbstreit t-shirt that somebody's put out. Sincerely, Miami. The only uncomfortable moment of the press conference yesterday was when Mario Cristobal mentioned Kirk Herbstreit, that he had spoken to Kirk Herbstreit and had joked with him, like, I guess you got something going here, or something, because Mario's now has the job and they have all this money coming into the program. And I saw like Julio Frank kind of like, you could just read his body language. He kind of like fidgeted a little bit in his seat. Not a very comfortable subject for the president of the university, without a doubt. But anyway, so it's all about recruiting today. And we've got a story on the site, Matt, about local high school coaches who see Mario Cristobal making a big impact in terms of keeping local talent home. And, your thoughts on that topic in general.
I mean, the buzz around Mario in the recruiting circles locally, like, I haven't seen anything like it. And, everyone's always super positive whenever a new coach is hired. Like, oh, yeah, they're going to be great. It's all going to work out and whatever. But, like, this is beyond just normal buzz. And, I mean, you saw why at that press conference yesterday. When Mario talks, it's captivating. If he wanted to start a cult, maybe Miami football will become a cult. I don't know. Maybe it already is.
You've got your cult. You might as well have his.
I mean, this is the kind of personality that can take over your brain, and all, he's really, everything he says is just captivating. And it's almost like the way I viewed his press conference yesterday, it was like Miami fans are addicted to losing. Like, they're just used to it. And they've accepted that almost, not in so many ways, but it's like when you watch a game now, it's not like you just expect to win like in the old days. That's what I mean when I say you're addicted to losing. It's like you're just waiting for the shoe to drop. Like, what's going to go wrong this game? That's what I mean by that. And what Mario did yesterday, really, it was almost like an intervention, like a 10-step plan in a 30-minute window that like exercised all the demons of this losing addiction Miami has. Because what he said was so on point. There wasn't really a wasted word in there. I don't know what he said in Spanish. Maybe that part was wasted. But in English, there was not a single wasted word that I heard him say. And basically what he was basically saying to me is, Miami fans, you can all wear your shirts, your Miami shirts out again. You don't have to call in sick on Mondays anymore to avoid talking to Alabama and Georgia coworkers about the weekend's games. Like, you can be proud of this program again. It was like a rehabilitation sermon for beating down Miami fans. It was amazing. Like, it was amazing. Like you wanted to pick up your furniture and throw it around the room when you hear him talk. It's amazing.
The Latin media is fired up. I mean, they have a head coach now that speaks Spanish and can like eloquently talk about things and with emotion and stuff. Like, I was talking to some of those guys. They are really fired up about Mario Cristobal being in town. All right, so home visits last night. School visit with Wesley Bassane, home visits with Nigel E. Kelly and Earl Little.
Amazing, right?
We'll keep mining for details on those things. I'm expecting all three of those guys now in the recruiting class, Matt. I think he's going to lock in Nigel E. Kelly, who actually was seriously thinking about going to Oregon before all this. And Earl Little now I think becomes an Alabama-Miami battle. And I think that Mario will have a chance to get him as well. So, we'll see how that plays out. We'll keep mining for details from those visits. Expecting Mario Cristobal to go on the road today and do some recruiting outside of South Florida before he comes back for the weekend visits. So it's going to be a lot of exciting stuff going on here in the next few days at the U and in terms of recruiting. Other stories on the website this morning. I had a really, really, really good interview with Mario's brother, Lou, who also played for the Hurricanes. And man, like, it was just so, like, I don't know what's the word, Matt. I don't want to say emotional but like, you could just feel the brotherly bond that those two have and what it means to their family that Mario has risen to this point in his career and is now the head coach of Miami. And Lou says a lot of really cool stuff. He, tells me about the battles that they used to have on video games and kickball games and basketball games and basically how competitive Mario was always growing up and how this work ethic was instilled by their parents. And it's really interesting interview and article. And if you haven't had a chance to check it out yet, I highly encourage everybody to take a look. It's pretty special. At least I felt it was pretty special. Also had really good interviews yesterday with Joaquin Gonzalez and Brett Romberg. Big offensive line, Matt, representation at the press conference yesterday. Bryant McKinney was there. It's like you could sense the pride that the former offensive linemen from Miami have now that one of them is in the head coach's office. And, it's kind of cool. It really is. It's kind of cool. We haven't seen this since Randy Shannon was the coach, and it wasn't really like that when Randy was here. I guess Mark Richt played at Miami, but that was so long ago that there wasn't really that real bond of his teammates being around. This was like a large contingent of former Miami offensive linemen coming out to support Mario Cristobal.
Yeah, and if I was Miami's marketing department, instead of this little minuscule number 1 jersey you present to him, I would have had a quadruple XL number 76 jersey that Mario couldn't even hold. It was so big in his arms. That's what I would have had to give Mario.
Now they come up with number 1. Like,
why would you give a former offensive lineman, an offensive line coach number? Even Mario was like, I never thought I'd have a number 1.
Yeah.
But that was funny actually. But yeah, like there's a lot of side things that are going to happen that nobody's really paying attention to now. But one of the big ones is, and you saw these former players come back. What do they do with the former players now? Because basically when we were at that former players meeting a couple of weeks ago, they were like, we can't even come to watch practice. We can't even come in the building. They show up, they don't have pre-clearance. They just turn them away, say sorry, And so now that's obviously going to change, but to what extent does it change? It'll definitely change, but do they come to every practice? Can they come whenever they want?
I don't think it's going to be open season. Like they need structure to it.
Correct. That's what I'm curious about. Like how they handle it.
They need to have a staffer that just works on alumni relations, in my opinion. And you got to have protocols. Who gets to go on the field? Who gets to be on the sideline during games? I think
that's just going to make some people upset. You can't say, okay, this guy can go and this guy can't. But
if Michael Irvin wants to be on the sideline, Michael Irvin will be on the sideline. If what's a good example? If KJ Osborne wants to be on the sideline, he may or may not be allowed to do that. You can't have 300 people on the sideline every game. It's just that's not workable. And you certainly can't have 10 receivers or 10 offensive linemen in the ear of the current players all at the same time during games as well. So what makes more sense is you invite anybody who wants to come out to a Sunday practice as a former player, come on out. And then in general, I wouldn't let any players on the sideline. But yeah, if there's a Michael Irvin, you could make a special exception. But if you make rules like, okay, this guy can come, this guy can't. This guy can come, this guy can't. I agree.
That's going to fracture the fan. That's going to fracture the alumni base. That's not going to work.
Upset. To me, it's a little bit of a problem, quite frankly, because they all want to be down there and they can't all be down there. So somebody's going to have to bring some organization to that whole thing. And that'll be a challenge that at some point, maybe by like next March or April, Mario maybe will get around to addressing. Maybe it might even be May if you consider spring practice going on. But it's something that's going to have to be looked at. And I really think they need a dedicated staffer to manage alumni relations. So, we'll see what happens. You probably could even have a former player doing that. So we'll see what happens. All right. And then, of course, if anybody missed our coverage of all the festivities yesterday, that's all still on the website as well. There's going to be constant updates and stuff. We have an update on defensive linemen. Matt, refresh his first name for me. I forgot his first name.
Ahmad. Yeah.
Ahmad Moten. We have an update on him that we just posted. So, there's a lot of stuff that's going to be happening as we go forward here, minute to minute. It's going to be at a breakneck pace, I can assure you. So stay glued to CaneSport.com. We'll have all the coverage for you. A little short and sweet today. But for Matt Shodell, I'm Gary Ferman. We wish everybody a great, I guess it's Wednesday. Oh, program note, tonight, the Lamar Thomas Show. We expect to have a lot of really good guests tonight. Lamar and Mario overlapped exactly. They were in the same recruiting class. So a lot of the former teammates, I think, are going to pop into the Lamar Thomas show tonight. And we'll have a lot of Mario conversation. We've also got Hurley Brown and Roland Smith coming on. They're playing against each other in the state championship game, in the state high school championship game. So that'll be an interesting conversation. So lots of good stuff coming up today on the website, and then the Lamar Thomas show tonight. So let me do this again. For Matt Shodell, I'm Gary Ferman. Have a great day, everybody, and we'll see you next time.